So good morning, everyone. And sadly, we had two more Albany County residents pass away last night. Two women, one in her 80s and one over 100. So my condolences and prayers go out to the two families and to the 70 other families that have lost loved ones in these difficult times. And just to let you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we'll continue to think about you, be here for you, and as always, you can always call the county for anything that you need help with, anything in that respect. The other stuff we have going on at Shaker Place, we have said this 4 weeks ago, we've been aggressively testing the residents and employees out there. So as of today in our facility, we have positive 19 residents that are positive. In the hospital, residents, we have 10. In the facility, 33 have recovered, and deaths in our facility were 9, and deaths in hospital were 5, which is a total of 14. And the 190 employees tested this week alone, 183 negative and 9 positive, which is also a step in the right direction. As of today, we have 1,552 positive cases of the coronavirus in Albany County. That's up 71. Now, you're probably all sitting there going, what's with the big number? You know, we've been pretty much on the average between 15 and 26 every day. The Tresian House, which Dr. Whalen and I have talked about, had a private contracting company come in and test all the residents and workers there, and we kept waiting for the numbers to come in. And we kept waiting. Well, now they're finally in, and I don't know how many. It was like I want to say a week ago. Feels like 2, but it was probably last week when this happened, or a week and a half ago. So them numbers finally came in. So we're bracing for that. We have 847 people under mandatory quarantine. That's up 83. We have 5 people under precautionary, and right now, we have 3,943 people have completed quarantine. Out of those, 1,026 tested positive, and that's a recovery rate of 13 since yesterday, which is good news, and we're up 37 people that also came off of this, so which is also good news. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen a huge jump in the rate of recoveries. 2 weeks ago, it was 53.5% of those had tested positive had recovered. Today, the rate is at 66.1, which is also good. There are now 27 people hospitalized with a hospitalization rate of 1.73% of those who have tested positive. Yesterday's rate was 2.02. So, we're down 3 people in the hospital, and we have 1 person currently in ICU. That's down 2 from yesterday. Over the last 5 days, there's been an average, and this just brings us up because of the new cases from the Tresian House, 25.4 new positive cases each day for the 5 days. So that all being said, it's still a great day here because we hit phase 1. We're 70 days into this. Tomorrow will be 71, and believe it or not, we're hitting week 11 on Friday. So it's been a long 10 weeks. And I want to commend not just the business sector and everyone else, the essential employees. As always, thank you for what you do day in and out. I want to thank my staff, extremely thank them for helping us, and all the other counties that worked with us to get this plan together, to get reopened, and all the hard work from the men and women at our health department that have been out there doing their job to map and trace this, and to continue to put the message out there about social distancing, wearing masks, coughing into your arm, and continue to clean your hands, and wearing PPE at all times. So to the residents, like I said, this is great stuff. When I drove in this morning, I was like, whoa, I forgot about all what the traffic was looking like for the last 10 weeks. And I hope that's due because you're all phase 1 employees and you need to be back with construction. But again, I just want to remind everyone, it is out there still. But we're doing great things here in Albany County, and help us continue to keep these numbers low by continuing to do the right stuff. So thank you. But it is a positive note to talk about all this going forward. But I do want to say we still have our testing sites going up. Our mobile testing site is always You can call area code 518-465-4771. And, also we have Rite Aid, as always, and we have the Guilderland Urgent Care, Priority 1 Urgent Care. We also have UAlbany that's doing essential employees, and the drive-through at UAlbany. We always put the numbers up. Please call if you need to get tested, and we're there for you. And I like to remind everyone, too, if you don't have insurance, we're covering it, so don't worry about that, especially with our mobile testing sites. But the good stuff. In order to continue to move forward to get to phase 2, and phase 2 wouldn't start till about June 3rd if everything goes right. And Dr. Whalen's here too, joining us, and she'll be here to answer questions. To get to phase 2, and I think Liza said it right yesterday, it will take 14 days to really know if we have a spike. It will take 14 days to know about the spike. It will take a little bit longer to see about hospitalization rates and everything else like that. If that all stays good, we get to phase 2, people. So keep that in mind, and that means more stuff gets to open up, and we start to move in the right direction. If you look at the slide from 2019, we did a rough estimate, and we talked about 23,000 jobs in phase 1 opening up. That's going to change because everyone knows here in the question's been phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Things have been shifted around. The state has changed different priorities. Hair salons and all that was in phase 4. Now it's phase 2. So stuff like that is going to continue to change as things open up and the numbers look good across the state of New York or the capital district that we're in. You'll see different things probably added to that from the state DOH and from the guidance I'm going to take from our health department and Dr. Whalen's team, how we feel things are going here, because that's been the most consistency we've had out of the department, and I want to thank her for that and her hard work. So overall, the largest of the jobs is represented in phase 2, and you can see the slide. Our matrix in our stable for the 2 weeks, like I said, we'll be able to get to phase 2, which is so important. And that means non-essential workers coming back. And like I kept saying, reimagine what you think the workforce is going to look like. And again, some of the feedback we got back yesterday via Facebook and emails was, well, who's going to enforce this? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? We're relying on the employees. And we're relying on the patrons that go to these restaurants or are going to go out shopping when we get to that point. One, to make sure people wearing their masks, make sure that they sign the pledge. Can we go after them if they don't sign it? No, but we'll sure as heck let you know on our matrix that's the companies that didn't sign it, versus the companies that are trying to do the right thing. And I can assure you, though, every business owner that I've talked to, every owner of a restaurant and hotel, dealerships, I can just go on, is all on board. They all want to know. They've actually gave us great information, how to open up. They told us what they want to do, their protocols, and most of them were above and beyond what we put out there. So they're taking this serious. So I think for the people out there, I don't think it's a question. The business owners are ready to open. They're excited about this, and they want to make sure that you're safe coming into their establishments, but they also want to make sure their employees are safe because their employees are like their families. So again, as we continue to move forward, we got to continue to look at things in the progress. And the Capital Region Chambers has done a lot of business deals, a lot of different things going on, and stuff that they continue to reach out and be the backbone for a lot of businesses, not just here in Albany County, but the Capital District. So who better than to have on than the president and CEO, Mark Egan, to talk a little bit about what the chamber's going on, how to achieve loans, how to help fill out that paperwork. As I said, we do realize the backbone of our community is the smaller businesses, and they don't have the tentacles of bigger companies. So Mark, please.
Great. Thank you, County Executive, and one, for the invitation to be here today, but more importantly for your leadership through this whole time. And Dr. Whalen, it really has been impressive, and it's been a long road for everyone. Obviously, we start with the issue of public health, but it's not just people's lives, it's their livelihoods. And today is a real big day. We're so thrilled to have phase 1. I think that most of you know, right from the beginning, we tried to provide resources and work in conjunction with the county to make sure that businesses knew how they could operate while they maybe weren't essential to have their direct employees in their establishments. Fortunately, a lot of our business community was able to work remotely, Unfortunately, a lot couldn't, and a number of folks have been laid off or furloughed. And as we talk to our businesses, whether they're large or small, but particularly as the county exec spoke of, our small to mid-sized companies, really their number one issue is cash flow. If they're not conducting business, there's not business, there's dollars to come in to pay those, whether it's payroll or rent and utilities, items that have to get paid. And a couple of weeks ago, at one of these briefings, the Community Loan Fund announced a grant program, and our chamber was happy to partner with them and help contribute funds to that. But we only can support so many businesses that way. One of the unique tools that Albany County has had for a long time is something that's called the LTEC Loan Fund. And some of you might be familiar with it. It's administered through the Albany County Business Development Corp. And our chamber has administered it on behalf of the county since 1994, so a long time, and a lot of success rate of helping hundreds of companies throughout our community. But we know these are special circumstances right now. And part of the CARES Act that was passed a couple of months ago, part of it was, there's different stimulus components. And just recently, we received an invitation from the Department of Commerce, specifically from the Economic Development Administration, inviting us, and the us being really the chamber and the county together, with this, because we have this revolving loan fund, we were eligible to apply for a special new fund that's for COVID-related businesses, because the circumstances are new. So I'm happy to report, with the county executive's blessing, we're going to be making a recommendation to the Albany County Business Development Corp board tomorrow to submit an application. As the county exec spoke of, he understands his role in leading the county, but also his role in helping set the stage to help the whole region move forward. And as we investigated the opportunity to apply for these funds, which communities can apply for up to $10 million of this revolving loan fund, that's the amount of a cap. We don't know what is the right amount for us, and the EDA will help us decide that. But they said that our application would be considered much more strongly, and the amount of funds we would receive would be greater if we submitted on behalf of the region. So the application that we'll be submitting will benefit not only Albany County, but the adjacent counties that the county executive has been working with on this whole reopening plan. The federal government has assured us that they're going to try to speed up the process. So we're hopeful to know sometime in July to know what our award is. We're confident that we'll get funds. We're not sure how much yet. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have all the infrastructure in place, so when we're awarded aware of the amount of funds we can distribute, we can quickly go out and have businesses apply. Again, I want to stress it's not a grant program. However, it's a loan program that we're able to look at much differently than a traditional bank would. With the LTEC loan fund, we really do loans in partnership with banks. In this case, the EDA is letting us to do loans on our own, because we know that there's some businesses that might be too high risk for a traditional bank right now, but they're not too high risk for our local community to support them. So I want to commend the county executive for really his leadership through this, not just from the health side, but the economic side, as well as he understanding that Albany County can lead by example of helping the region go forward. I know that his fellow county leaders are going to be grateful that he had the foresight to have the application benefit our greater community. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And who better to have here than our new economic development person, Kevin, who probably didn't think you were going to be in the middle of all this when you agreed to come work for me. You might have rethought it if this was going on. But Kevin, I can't thank you enough for your leadership and everything that you've been doing. I don't even want to talk a little bit about what's going on and where we're headed.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, everyone. I just want to talk a little bit about the process that led us to the Capital Region Forward Plan and the reopening that the county executive's taken the lead on and been so instrumental in making happen. And I personally believe that we wouldn't be open today had it not been for the county executive. But the county executive has pulled together the Albany County Business Advisory Board, and that board has informed the Capital Region Forward Plan that we put together. I'd like to draw particular attention to Jennifer McPhee from Bank of America. She was very helpful in giving us all of the background information that Bank of America used in plotting out their reopening strategies. It was tremendously helpful. And as well as the Capital Region Home Builders Association. They also obviously have a lot at stake here and were very helpful in the information that they provided. I think just in general, the feedback that we've gotten from our advisory board is that every business that we've talked to, without exception, is looking to instill confidence back into the economy of our region. They want to instill a confidence in their employees that their workplace is a safe place for them to show up, and they want to instill confidence in the marketplace so that people will come back and patronize their businesses. I think every one of these businesses is, locked in on making sure that everybody that works in their place of business or that patronizes their place of business is using all of the precautions necessary to avoid a resurgence. One of the business people put it very succinctly to me in stating that it would be worse to open up and have another shutdown than to not have opened up at all, because he will have hired back employees, he would have restocked inventory and made all sorts of expenses, and then with no revenue to support any of that. So I think, again, without exception, the business community is going to be very, very focused on following all the paths. You can't say everybody. We've seen some, as the county executives mentioned in the past, we've seen some businesses who seem to be a little bit sloppy on that. But I'd say by and large, the business community is very focused on making sure that things are done the right way. And at a business, you have the ability to affect people's behavior. When they're staying home, not as much. So we're confident. We have a meeting tomorrow that the county executive has called to update the business advisory board and to get any further feedback. We will be setting up a portal where all of our businesses will be able to interact and get information and post their plans. And I think that's going to be a tremendous tool for businesses and for the county, because we can monitor what they're doing and update them on anything that is changed, which seems to be happening almost daily. So I think we're probably a good bit ahead of some of the other regions around the state in our reopening plans. So that's about it.
Thank you, Kevin. And as always, listen, I know everyone's looking for the June 3rd date. Continue to do the right stuff. We'll get there together, working together as a group. And I think Phase 3 would start June 17th if we continue to move forward. And Phase 4 starts July 1st. So, again, I hate to say it, and I think this guy Daryl owes me lunch from last week. And also, I made the prediction in the beginning. I said July or August before we get back to the norm, or what we reimagine the outside's going to look like. And but I do want to say before I move on, I can't thank Dr. Whalen and her team enough for what they've been doing 7 days a week around the clock. Probably driven her a little bit crazy with everything. But I do want to say to my staff, especially my secretary Jenna, and then to Dan Lynch, Chris Quinn, George Penn, especially Mary over there, to everyone on my floor, and Jen Clement, my HR director, who I seem to go round and round with all the time. But we've been under a lot of stress the last 70 days, and we've worked around the clock, and we've come together, and we've done great work, and we're going to continue to do great work to move us forward safely, protecting the residents first and foremost, and getting the economy back up and running. So we have a lot ahead of us, and we can't do it without you everyone that's home in doing the right thing and continue to do the right thing. But I do want to thank CSEA today. They're celebrating Essential Workers Day, so thank you to all the CSEA members and what you're doing and being the backbone of our workforce. Can't do this without you, so thank you. Also, I want to remind everyone out there, our mental health support hotline is available 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. As always, the number is 518-269-6634. And also our 24-hour sexual assault hotline number is area code 518-447-7716. Also, we have the 211 number in the New York State hotline, as always, at 188, was it 364-3065.